Hello everybody, and welcome to another Kev Play. This is Kevin, and we are on part 9 of Crash Team Rumble. I figured last episode we played as Ripto, so let's keep it going with the Spyro glory that is this new season. Before we begin, let's look at what we have to say. What they have to say. I don't know if I read this last time, but this week, Icy Artisans Arena continues its wintry fun. Also, keep your eyes open for Wumpa Whale event on the horizon. Enjoy the rest of 2023, and we'll see you in January. Toys for Bob. We are aware of an issue with our Icy Artisans event in which the correct collectibles are appearing in party mode but not competitive. That's something I noticed, by the way. We'll see this map later on. But to remedy this, we're doubling the number of hot cocoa collectibles that will spawn in party mode in order to sweeten this event for our players. We appreciate the quick feedback that brought this to our attention so we can work on a fix. In the meantime, enjoy the party with hot cocoa and cookies. Nice little end-of-year treat. So I wanted to get another Crash Team Rumble episode in before the end of the year because they have this really awesome wintry theme going with all the levels, and I wanted to capture that. Let me... So we got Spyro. Oh, right off the get-go, we're going into the new level, Artisans Arena. This is the debut for this this playthrough. I have played it. It's a lot of fun. You'll get to see it. I like to keep Spyro as without any cosmetics on him or anything. It's just awesome to play with Spyro in 2023. And then I figured I'd give Sparks his blue health. Because they let you change the color of Sparks, so I like that they at least give you green, blue, and I think gold is the standard, but I'm kind of rusty with what the controls are, but they're very easy to learn. The button mapping's a bit different from how Spyro controls in his games, but all his movesets are there, and it's really easy to pick up. I think R2 is charge if you hold it down. Was that a goose? So this will be our last episode of 2023. I figure I didn't want to, because we've been flip-flopping between this and The Last of Us Part 2. Like I said, I wanted to capture the wintry theme that's going on in this before we return to that. Okay. So like Spyro's horns will light up. I think he has a bit of a temporary charge in this, just for balancing issues, or balancing sake. Hey, Papa Pig! Welcome to the show. It certainly has. I figured, you know, with Christmas and everyone enjoying the holidays and everyone probably enjoying whatever games they got or whatever, I'd let them... I'd give the show a rest for a bit, but here we are. I wanted to at least capture the winter theme that we have going, that I think should be ending soon.
Ice wizards available.
This is one of the new levels. Really cool. I love that the ultimate relic station is Gulp, which is awesome. About Spyro, it's gonna take a lot of getting used to for me, at least. Okay. Well, he does have a double jump, I just realized. Well, I've already maxed him out. Once you... I don't know what your level is with... Oh, my... I canceled my glide by accident. I guess I have to get used to him again. But, yeah, it takes some getting used to, but I think once you... Like any character, the more I play as them, the more I get... Like, the closer I get to level 15, the more fluent I am with the controls.
ice wizards.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Boosted. Enemy ice wizards.
I mean, if I can get used to Embryo, then I can get used to anyone, pretty much. Okay. I like this section where they give you all these relics in the middle. Oh, it was good. I spent it with family, both on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. The enemy team's gonna win this one, I think. But yeah, it was good. How was yours?
Enemy team boosted. Enemy gone.
It was pretty much an average day.
Expired.
A day for you, okay. Yeah, that's one of the things I realized when you get older is that
Enemy ice wizards.
it just becomes another day. I do realize that I value time spending with family more as I get older, more than like it being
Ally ice wizards.
you know, more than it being about the gifts or anything. But everyone seemed to enjoy their Christmas here. I got my family nice gifts and everything, and it was just relaxing. It was a good end of year treat. Christmas starts to lose its magic once you get, yeah, you know. But it's not without its good, you know. I'm always about the food, the family, and anything else. I'm just grateful for. So yeah, we didn't do so hot on that first attempt. I haven't really been playing Crash Team Rumble too much in the last few weeks, but I pretty much was able to max out Spyro and then work on Catbat a little bit more. Catbat's on level 14, but he's my last person I have to max out. Yeah, it just feels like a Sunday afternoon for me. Same here. Okay. Yeah. And I had to go to work the next day and throughout that week and had to prepare for like our end of year wrap up of work or whatever, and it was a little stressful, but I feel like this weekend it's a 3-day weekend, so because I'm off on New Year's, but it gives me a chance to at least enjoy some games and some of the stuff I got. I'll say one of the things I have been having a blast with was God of War Valhalla, which is the free DLC that was shadow dropped, and it was a lot of fun. Like it really reminds me how addictive that gameplay is. Have you announced your personal game of the year yet? I have not, but I think at halfway through this episode, I'm gonna get to that. Yeah, Valhalla was a lot of fun. And oh my god, I can't believe that was free because there's so much story content that's really rich and really well done. Really big character building moment for Kratos throughout it. And honestly, I'm not someone who's usually into roguelikes. You know, Returnal didn't really win me over when I got it, but I have to say, there's something about God of War that made it really easy for me to get into this genre, because I think one of the reasons is because I really like God of War's world. I love its characters. I love the Norse mythology. It was really easy to get into,
Super boosted.
and because of that, I'm starting to wonder if I should give Returnal a second chance, because I feel like Returnal, one of
Your team puts Wumpa on the board.
Returnal's flaws for me is that
Enemy team ultra boosted.
the world isn't as inviting as, say, God of War. It's very dark and cryptic and drab, and it doesn't really give you too much of a chance to really get to know the main character as you play. And that's because I didn't even get past the first part in Returnal. It was just so... It just didn't make sense to me at the time. Like, you know, you're playing it and then you have to play it over again, and you're not progressing, but you kind of are. I didn't really understand it. But after playing Valhalla, I really understand it now. That even when you fail, you're progressing. You're like adding to your progression and to your what's it called?
Enemy team boost expired.
Like you're upgrading your abilities and your weapons and all that. So I think Returnal is something I might actually give a shot, give another chance at some point.
Ally Ice Wizards.
But yeah, other than that, God of War Ragnarok was a lot of fun. Valhalla was a lot of fun. And it was cool too because it explored like the Greek era of the games a little bit more, kind of like merging that whole Norse and Greek mythology, which was really cool.
Enemy team boosted.
I revisited Uncharted for the crushing mode. Uncharted 1 for the crushing mode. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've platinumed all the Uncharteds, and the crushing modes were definitely challenging. Have you platinumed those games in the past, or is this like you revisiting the crushing mode?
Enemy team
Or are you doing
ultra
the crushing mode for the first time? Oh, we're getting our asses kicked again. Not so much though, but significantly. There we go. Gulp activated. It's so cool that Gulp is like a main villain in the Crash Bandicoot universe. My plan is to platinum all Uncharted games. Oh, beautiful. The only one I haven't platinumed is Lost Legacy. I think I have like 70-something% on that. I beat the crushing mode on all of them, though. And of course, Golden Abyss. I don't even know if Golden Abyss has trophies, but I haven't... Obviously, I haven't played that because it's only available on Vita. Or PSP. I forget which one. Let's set up these Ice Wizards.
Ally Ice Wizards.
I feel like this Gulp and these Ice Wizard activations have kind of helped us a bit. Or will help us. I love that they have the Snow-Go music from Crash 2 on this level right now.
Your team boosted. Enemy team boosted. Stealth available.
Ah. Let's get Gulp going.
Healing bridge ready.
We're making a comeback. Maybe I should block. Or is someone blocking for us?
Your team boost expired. Enemy team super boosted.
Oh man. I'm trying. Oh, we were closer that time at least. So yeah, other than God of War Valhalla, which has been a lot of fun, I got all the trophies for it, by the way. And I still want to play it because it's so much fun, but it also there's still some story stuff that are there for me to play that I want to get into. Oh, dude, guess what gaming device I bought not too long ago? I think I saw on Twitter you got the Steam Deck, right? Because if that's so, that's awesome. How do you like? What do you think of it? Because I've always been toying around with the idea of getting one. I think you were playing like the original. Were you the one who posted a screenshot of you playing the original Spyro the Dragon on it? I don't know if that was like a mod or something, or like a or something. I love how they have random bird noises in the loading. Oh, Santa's here too. Yeah, that's me emulating the PS1 games on Steam Deck. That's awesome, dude. I would love to play those games as a handheld. It's pretty heavy though, that thing, right? It's like a heavier Switch.
3, 2,
1. I'm gonna take. Oh, it's gonna take a lot of used to, but it's a great device. Okay. Yeah, I imagine it is. That's cool though.
enemy team puts Wumpa on the board.
I always want, like, one of the first games I definitely would play on that is like the modded versions of Simpsons Hit and Run and like the Tony Hawk games, because I think they made like a super Tony Hawk game, like the PC community, where it's like all the Tony Hawk games in one. I think it's like Tony Hawk's Underground Plus or something like that.
Enemy team mega boosted.
So it's like every single map from every single game.
Dragons
Oh my god.
available. Healing fridge ready.
Got it.
Expired.
I don't have a PC, but, and I don't know if this means anything, but I did get a new laptop for Christmas. It's like an LG Gram. I don't think it's not a gaming laptop, but I'm wondering if anything can be done with that one. The reason I wanted one though is because
Enemy team boost expired.
I want to see if I can experiment with like maybe doing some type of like editing or video editing or podcast work or something. But yeah, I have
Healing fridge ready.
I have that. I've yet to set it up because I think I'm gonna try to set it up tomorrow. See what I can do with it. Simpsons Hit and Run is a Windows XP game. It should run fine. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, what the modding community does with Simpsons Hit and Run to this day is really awesome. Like, I think they connected all the towns together, and they do all sorts of like different things with it. It's supposed to be going strong even to this day.
Enemy dragon.
Oh man.
Enemy team mega boosted.
I never realized that those rocks that fall, that power up or whatever it is, the garbage trash one, it's going around in a circle, almost like Dingodile in Crash Warped, like his flames, where you have to run around in a circle. I always thought it was just randomly dropping.
Enemy team ultra boosted.
And then other than that, I did get 2 games for Christmas by my sister picked them up for me. One I'm playing right now, which I'm having a lot of fun with, and that's the BioShock collection. I'm playing through BioShock 1 for the first time, and I have to say I'm really enjoying it. Like, the first time I played it, the first night I played it, I was like, okay, this is good. I don't know why, like, I didn't understand why it was so praised yet after the first playthrough. The BioShock collection? Well, you know me, I need to get the physical collection anyway, but it was like discounted, like on sale, you know, so she was able to get it cheap. But yeah, after like the second playthrough and then the third playthrough, I started to realize that that game is really awesome. And like, I'm dying to get back into it. The gameplay loop is really fun. Like, the upgrades that you get in it, the strangeness of the game, like how it presents itself. It's definitely a very unique game. Unique story, unique way of telling a story through like radio messages and everything. It's just weird too, like the big daddies and like the little sisters and all of them. Like, very interesting game. It's very, you know, if Kojima is like an auteur for video games, like I think who does BioShock? I think it's like, is it Sam Raimi or Sam Lake? Something Sam, I think. But you can tell there's a lot of artistry that goes into that game so far. I'm looking forward to playing more of it. Other than that, I also got the Metal Gear Solid collection for PS5, which I'm not going to touch yet. I figure let me try let's play through BioShock first. But then yeah, I'm excited to get into that. I'm wondering if I'm going to play Metal Gear Solid 1 over again for the trophies. I'm sure I will, but and it might be a good idea just to do it as a refresher, because, you know, those games are so loaded with so much layers of story and historical context and political context and so much character work that's going into it, that it might be good to get a refresher and just play it over again, especially since I kind of know what to do now. And then I can jump into the second game. Oh, you did get Ghost of Tsushima. I saw that too. That's a great pickup. Like that is like, that's my game of the year for 2020, by the way. As great of a year that was. It Ghost of Tsushima, it's awesome. It has its multiplayer mode is awesome. It's like they didn't even need to make a multiplayer mode for it, but they did, and it's like, it's basically like what, like the original Factions is to Last of Us. It doesn't need to be there, but it's awesome. That's the Legends mode for Ghost of Tsushima, so that's a lot of fun. It's kind of like a co-op online thing, like squad-based thing. And then you have the story, which is amazing, in the open world, and then it also has a really awesome DLC that came out like a year later. So you're in for a treat with that. Especially if you got the PS5 version, which I believe you did, right? Yeah. So which game are you playing? Like, you got 2 games, I think, right? Or at least multiple, I think?
Your team boost expired. Spirit Guardian available. Enemy team boost expired. Healing fridge ready.
want to make sure I get those Spirit Guardians going. Boom, baby. Try to win this one.
Enemy team boosted. Your team scores for the lead. Enemy team scores for the lead.
Dope. My brother got Mario Bros. Wonder. Mario Bros. Wonder. Okay.
Enemy team.
Oh, so you were playing through that one first, I think, right? So I think I saw another Twitter post where you were debating which game to play first.
Healing bridge ready. Enemy team mega boosted. Spirit Guardian available.
Oh yeah, Nier Automata, that's right, okay. I never played that, like, I don't know much about that game, but I always hear it being talked about in critic circles that I follow. Oh my god. Lewis on our team. We keep getting... Oh, they have a bot too, so I guess I can't complain. I think one thing I should talk about before I go into the game of the year or whatever, is that it's really unfortunate. I didn't get to cover this last time, but it's really unfortunate what happened to Insomniac with that whole leak. Really, it's just really shitty on, you know, whoever that ransomware company is or whatever. It's like I'm starting to realize that the PS5 is sort of, you know, it's in this weird spot right now where we don't really know what all these companies are doing. You know, Naughty Dog had kind of a rough year with, like, factions getting canceled, and all of that, and which is beyond them, honestly. I think they were ready to put that game out, but I think it's like Sony's management and the whole Bungie fiasco or whatever. But we're still waiting on all these companies to kind of show up. You know, Ben Studio, Sucker Punch, and the like. But Insomniac has really been carrying, like, this PS5 generation so far, and they're doing such a great job with their output that it's a shame that someone out there has to knock them down a peg with, you know, with how successful they've been by, you know, completely just invading their privacy and releasing all, you know, their whole roadmap, and also all the company employee details and everything. It's just such a shame that has to happen. But that it was a big. That might be like one of the biggest leaks ever. Yeah, it's just, you know.
Enemy team boosted.
But hey, you know, Insomniac, I trust them, and they seem to have their shit together when it comes to, you know, what they set out to achieve and everything. So it's at least comforting to know that there is a really strong roadmap going on, but it's not something I needed to know. You know, it's not something I deserve to know, because you know, because of how it came out. But
Your team boost expired.
nonetheless, Insomniac has been awesome this gen, awesome this year.
Enemy team boost expired.
And I'm looking forward to more stuff from them now. And regardless, honestly, I didn't really even look at any of like the details of their games that much. And even anything I did, I'm probably gonna forget about it by the time it's actually coming out again. So at least there's that. I feel like we're due for a win this round. Come on.
Your team boosted. Flame trap available. Allied team ultra boosted.
Oh, if we're ultra boosted, it's time to move.
Allied flame trap. Enemy team boosted. Your team pulls ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely insane. It's a shame.
Allied flame trap. Healing bridge ready. Your team boost expired. It's neck and neck.
Heh. Oh, come on.
Enemy team boost expired. Enemy team scores for the lead.
Oh, do you like that save with that head dash?
Storm available. Your team takes the lead. Enemy team pulls ahead.
Oh, you're going down, Coco.
For the lead.
Yeah, Last of Us Factions was a big blow, but I'm kind of glad it's over with.
Enemy team
I feel like that's been a long time coming. It's been on the writing's been on the wall for that game for a while,
bridge ready.
and not because of Naughty Dog's talents or even their pacing of getting the game out. It really was more of an executive decision that, you know, they wanted to come out with a little bit more of a little ambitious factions, but then because of that, Sony made them do this whole live service thing, and that became unrealistic.
It's getting too
You know,
close to call.
I think of like how Uncharted 4's multiplayer was compared to like say Uncharted 2 and 3's. That's a little bit more. It's a much more advanced multiplayer compared to those original games.
Either team could take this one.
I think that's what Factions 2 was supposed to be. Was just a little bit more of an improvement. There we go. We got. But because of the whole Jim Ryan era, where this live service push has to happen, even though they have all these, you know, these other games like Marathon and what was it, Marathon from Bungie and what's that other one? I forget. It starts with a C or something. But they have live service games on the pipeline. They don't need to make Naughty Dog, who's a single player focused studio, making a live service game, you know? That was just poor judgment. And I feel bad for Naughty Dog because honestly I think they have a complete game ready to be released. But because of the whole live service thing, it just got swept under the rug, and now they can't do anything with it. Like there were Naughty Dog devs saying that this was like the best multiplayer game that they ever created, or that they've ever played. And I know that says a lot coming from them. That doesn't say much coming from them because obviously they're going to be proud of their work. But I believe them when they say that because I know that they're always trying to push the limits and trying to, you know, improve on their past iterations and everything. And it's just a shame. I knew it was, yeah. And honestly, now that it's over, now that they've at least made that executive decision to cancel it. Now we can move on, and now, like they said, they have at least two that we know of, or two unannounced single-player games that are in the works right now. So, I'm all about that. And, I've never had a reason to be down on Naughty Dog before, so for years they've been putting out games that have been like cherished memories, cherished quality installments. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that this is just like a little bit of a rough patch that they're in. And once they get back on track to being that studio that they aim to be, then I have no reason to doubt that we're in for some awesome stuff with that. It better be Jak and Daxter. Hey, they should bring back Jak, because wasn't there like a rumor for a while that there was a Jak and Daxter movie in the works or something? I feel like they could take a note from Insomniac and make like every now and then a new Jak and Daxter or something, just the same way they do with Ratchet and Clank. Damn it. Just trying to...
Enemy team puts Wumpa on the board.
Oh no! Almost fell. Yeah, with Tom Holland as Jak. Yeah, that's right. So I guess I'll start talking about my game of the year. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a tie-in game and movie. That's what I mean. So if there's a movie in the works, I would imagine, because that seems to be what Sony keeps doing, is at least releasing some type of, even if it's like a remake or a remaster or whatever. They've been doing that, but I don't think they would remaster Jak again. They already did for the PS3, and that's all it really ever needed. But I think they would totally make a new game if they could.
Enemy team boost expired. Healing fridge ready.
Dope. But yeah, okay, so let's talk about my game of the year. I've been thinking about it for a while. Obviously, and honestly, well, let's just get one game out of the way, but let's at least sing its praises. The Dead Space remake, awesome game. I've never played Dead Space. Obviously, it's not going to qualify for this because it's a remake, but there's a lot of original content in that at least warrants warrants an honorable mention. Dead Space was a lot of fun. It was a little disturbing for my taste, but it's a game I would definitely play again if they made a sequel to, or I definitely want to return to it and try to platinum it at some point. I think right now I have like 65% for trophies, but I really enjoyed it. For like it was kind of like my substitute Starfield for the year. But yeah, Dead Space was a lot of fun. Other than that, the three games that we've talked about before, but I talked about like a couple episodes ago that like what is my criteria for Game of the Year this year, because there's two games obviously that are kind of like neck and neck for me. But then you also got a game like this, Crash Team Rumble, which came out this year, which is a multiplayer-only game. Usually goes against my whole MO when it comes to Game of the Year. Because there's no offline content, there's no single player or anything. But I have to say, live service games have kind of turned me around when they work. You know, Chivalry 2 is a great example of that. That came out in 2021. They're still updating that game. It's still awesome. And it's a game that grows over time. You know, that being a live service game or an ongoing game. And I have to say, Crash Team Rumble is a lot of fun. This gameplay is a lot of fun. And looking at my end-of-year PlayStation wrap-up, it's the game I've played embarrassingly the most of. I've put in close to 400 hours on this game. It really is a special game, and it's insane that nobody talks about it in the game space. It kind of just came and went with like the mainstream gaming community, With us, like people like us, like Crash fans or Toys for Bob fans, it's a lot more talked about and a lot more involved. But what they've done with this game, 3 seasons in, it's improved so much. It's really impressive what this game does. Like, this is a dream game for me. Back in, when I was a kid, I always wanted a Smash Brothers clone for Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. I always imagined what it would be like. Because back when I was a kid, I didn't understand the whole... Like, I understood Nintendo had Super Smash, but I didn't understand, like, licensing agreements and how one game is exclusive to another. Like, I understood that on face value, but I was like always like, how awesome would it be if I can play as Crash in a brawler? Or Spyro. And obviously PlayStation All-Stars came out in 2012. And that was going to be the hope for me, that finally I can get my dream. But then that never happened because of licensing agreements, or like licensing issues or whatever with Activision. And obviously Crash wasn't even... Crash was pretty much a dead franchise in 2012 as far as I'm concerned. But not only is this the closest I'm going to get, but it kind of exceeds what I wanted in a way, because the fact that I'm running around in a 3D space brawling compared to like a side-scrolling brawl, that's kind of awesome. Like, this would have been like... I don't think I would have ever like survived as a kid if this existed back when I was a kid, because it really is just too good to be true. And the fact that they're just adding all these new more characters, you're playing as both Spyro and Crash in the same game. It's something special. And all the nostalgia they do too, with all the music and like the movesets and everything. They really they really pay tribute to what made me fall in love with these games to begin with. And plus, the multiplayer is just so fun. Like, a game that's too good to be true for me is CTR Nitro Field. That too. See, honestly, at least we had Crash Team Racing back in PS1. At least we had something to contend with against Mario Kart back in the day, and it kind of exceeded it for me. But, you know, obviously that was just a base game to play with. Still arguably one of the great games, the original version. But yeah, Nitro Field is a dream, is a Crash Bandicoot fan's dream also. So, yes, I don't think I can count this out of the running yet, because it is the game of the year that I've played the most and that I am having a blast with to this day. I never thought I'd see Crash characters in one game together. All the Crash characters. Yeah, Nitro Field, right.
Your team boosted.
Damn it. Damn it. So then other than that, obviously the great debate is between the story-based games. It's between Hogwarts Legacy for me and Spider-Man 2. And I've gone back and forth with this because there are things that impress me about Hogwarts Legacy more than Spider-Man 2 does, and then there's some stuff that impresses me with Spider-Man 2. You know, and vice versa and all that. I gotta pick one. Damn it. But, like I said, the one, like, let's start with Hogwarts Legacy, I guess. What really impressed me, and I've said this in the past, is I went to that game thinking, okay, this is a game, I really loved Harry Potter as a kid, I loved reading the books. The movies were always okay to make good, you know, serviceable. But there's never really been a game that captured my attention or my imagination like this game would. And not only that, but I went into it thinking, not only am I gonna, not only is it like like you're gonna be going to Hogwarts as a student, but it's almost like having graduated from high school so far removed, it's a chance to go back to school again, in a way, in an open world, in an RPG, which no other game does. And I went into it thinking, I already went through high school, I already went through school, I'm just gonna be one son of a bitch in the hallways, you know, I'm gonna be kind of like the anti-Harry Potter, you know, not necessarily evil, but not somebody who's gonna be all lovey, who's gonna be like 100% good. So I made that decision to do that. I'm thinking, oh, I'm just gonna be very irreverent and kind of subversive to everything that the game expects me to choose, and I would do that. But then it came to certain points where I would play it, and because of how immersed I was in the world, I didn't want to be an asshole. I didn't want to be like a jerk to any of some of the NPCs. I actually cared about them. And I started to realize that the game was like immersing me in a way I was not expecting. And because of that, it was making the RPG element a lot more fascinating.
Your team boost expired.
In that I can make some bad decisions, but it wasn't going to be all black and white for me, which is what I was expecting. So that's something I got to give praise to. Plus, the creative character was amazing. I was literally playing as myself. Traversal, compared to Spider-Man, the traversal on the broom was a lot of fun, and you get to upgrade it as you go. And not only it wasn't just broom flying, but you can fly on like different creatures from the game, from the books. So it was very in depth in that way. And then you had the combat, which was just like for me, the traversal and the combat are almost pretty much equal between Spider-Man 2 and Hogwarts Legacy. Set that up first. What was I saying? Yeah, the combat in Hogwarts Legacy is very intuitive, very simple to learn, but there's a complexity to it, similar to Spider-Man 2 with the movesets and everything. You know, you have your different abilities like blocking or moving things and setting things on fire and like so many things. It's literally like the God of War of the Wizarding World. Yeah. And Spider-Man 2 had that too. The combat was really amazing. Other than that, while the story the story in Hogwarts Legacy was serviceable. I would say there were parts, like, different set pieces in Spider-Man 2 that were definitely, really cool and really technically impressive. Well, you know, in Spider-Man 2, the ability to play as Venom was awesome. What am I saying? But I also have to appreciate Hogwarts Legacy as a prequel, because even though it's taking place like almost like a little over a century before the events of Harry Potter, there's a lot of lore going on that is very that fans would find really captivating. You know, like a lot of like the past historical characters in Harry Potter are featured. There's kind of a little bit of world building with, like, say, like, coming across the ancestors of some of the characters we know from the present books, which is really cool. Dope. I was putting him into some work on the scoring end of that. But yeah, the story is really good. It's actually interesting how they make the trolls, or at least a faction of the trolls, the main enemy, which is something that was never really explored in... It was touched on in the books, but it was never fully explored until now. Because there was always kind of like this rift between... Not trolls, I'm sorry, not trolls, goblins and humans. There was always kind of like bad blood between them that gets explored in this, which I thought was neat. Spider-Man 2 had a similar kind of story in some aspects, where I feel like the suit of Venom is supposed to be kind of almost representative of kind of like war, and almost similar to like a nuclear bomb, where it's like you want to heal the world, but you can't just do it by putting this really awful suit on and then being granted the ability to do whatever you want. You know, we can't just drop nukes on countries or whatever to end, like, you know, obviously tensions between two factions or between opposing factors or whatever are always a more complicated issue or whatever. So putting the Venom suit on was a very dark, complicated thing, because it was taking over Peter and Harry, and it was making them more powerful, but at what cost? And it's not so, and even when they took the suits off, it still had kind of an effect on them, like a after effect, you know. So it kind of reminded me like it was like almost like a metaphor or an allegory for how war is. And that's kind of similar to what Hogwarts Legacy was, because by the end of the game, you're granted the ability to have ultimate power, which is something that shouldn't be... It has this kind of like, with great power comes great responsibility theme to it, which I thought was executed just as well in the story of Hogwarts Legacy as it was in Spider-Man 2. But in Spider-Man 2, like, the characters are obviously the characters are a lot more, pardon the pun, but electric. Like, they jump off the screen more. Whereas the creative character you make in Hogwarts Legacy is more, obviously it's more attuned to who you want to be, more than the game kind of like having some pre-established scripts for your character. That said, I have to say, I was surprised that Hogwarts Legacy was a lot more edgy in how it presented itself compared to Spider-Man 2. Like, I feel like Spider-Man 2, as much as I love the characters, sometimes it feels like sometimes the corniness can be a little too corny. I know in Spider-Man, like, that's kind of like a thing where the characters are a little corny. And that's kind of, it's kind of like a Nathan Drake thing where he'll just say some corny line sometimes. But it's kind of, sometimes it's a little overkill in Spider-Man 2 for me. But nothing, it's nothing to sneeze at. It's not something I would really, like, say took away from the game for me or anything. Like, there's certain moments, like when you're at the carnival with Harry, when Peter's at the carnival with Harry and Mary Jane, and like kind of like the overjoyousness that they're having, it's kind of put on a bit for me. It doesn't feel like real New Yorkers at a carnival, but again, it's Spider-Man. But I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud with that. But again, I found the story with Kraven really interesting. I found the story with Venom taking over really interesting. The Spider-Man games inspired me to watch the movies again. The original Sam Raimi. Oh, that's what I was trying to say. Sam Raimi for BioShock before. That's not Sam Raimi. Obviously, Sam Raimi's the guy who directed those Spider-Man movies. The original trilogy. I think Sam Lake is who I'm thinking of. Okay, but besides that, I have to give Spider-Man credit that it really captured my imagination more than the movies ever did, and it made me want to go back to watch the movies. Dope. In terms of the open world, I really love Spider-Man in expanding with Queens and Brooklyn, beyond Manhattan. I thought that was actually very well done, having been there a lot, where my friends live. With Hogwarts Legacy, beyond the castle, and by the way, the castle work in Hogwarts Legacy is super impressive. Because not only is it an open world outside where you can go to the Forbidden Forest and, go into the mountains and like really explore the huge lake in Harry Potter, but the castle is like all the puzzles in it and the mysteries that you can find and discover just in the castle alone is very impressive. I think it's kind of impressive to make a game where there's an inside interior to explore. And I have to imagine it's really hard to do. I have to imagine it's really hard to do. Did Hogwarts Legacy take some inspiration from the movies? Oh yeah, absolutely. It really does feel like you're playing in the actual film's version of Hogwarts. Let me lower this a bit. Whoa. Let me, what was I saying? Yeah, absolutely took inspiration. The music, oh my god, the music in Harry Potter. See, this is the one thing at the Game Awards. I understand if it's not going to be Game of the Year, that's fine. There were so many great games this year. But the music not getting any attention is insane because it literally had like some of the best, most awesome tracks to listen to this whole year for me when it comes to video game music. And that's coming from like also it being Harry Potter music, so it's serving Harry Potter music, but it's also just really great music. Like when you go into the town of Hogsmeade, which is a big thing in the books, like it's a town where you can go and you can go to the prank shop, or you can go to like the candy shop, or the bar, or whatever. It's such a awesome experience because they're playing this music, if you listen to it, that's so cheerful and joyful, and it really brings you back to what made you fall in love with that 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 part of the story, or that part of the world, or whatever. That same goes for the castle. Same goes for outside the castle, where you can go into the Forbidden Forest, which is really dark, full of huge spiders and trolls and centaurs and really all these magical creatures. The open world felt like the collecting felt almost similar to me of like what Spyro is to me, and how you can collect like, you know, dragon eggs or dragons, and I'm not saying they collected dragons, but I'm saying the things you're collecting reminded me of kind of that like child wonder of finding something and then solving puzzles and stuff. There's so many mysteries in that world. But beyond that, then you're going to classes with the professors, and there's all these mini games. It really is such an in-depth world. And I have to say, like, so, like, when you compare that to Spider-Man 2's world, the swinging, like, a lot of the game, Spider-Man 2 is such an improvement over Spider-Man 1. But it still is, in its essence, Spider-Man. You know, it's what you would come to suspect from a sequel from 2018 Spider-Man. There's a lot more detail. You can look inside buildings now, and you can see things. You can see people in their apartments. What was I gonna say? The wingsuit added so much more to traversability. There's so many little mini side missions that are really clever and fun. Some of them are random, but they're kind of pretty awesome at the same time. Like I know a lot of people weren't too fond with the bike riding missions, but I thought it was awesome that you can pick up a bike and ride around if you wanted to. I think you can even do that at will outside the mission, which is cool. But then you have Hogwarts Legacy that not only do you get your own, you have your own, you have your own dorm. You get to pick your own, what's it called? Your house, like Slytherin, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, or Hufflepuff. But then you also get your own room of requirement, which is, if you read the books or seen the movies, is basically it's like your own world that you can create your own world inside the world. Like, so, like, when you get into your room of requirement, you can do whatever you want with it. You can capture creatures in the world and then use them as kind of like farm animals in your world, and you can name them, and you can like basically like farm them, like kind of like pick their feathers for like a magic spell, or what's it called? You can breed them and make babies, which was fun. It was very reminiscent of like playing Pokemon. You get like female versions or male versions you would have to find. There's different types that you can find in the wilds, like legendary versions. And then you had like your chemistry set in your room of requirement, where you can like concoct anything you want. So again, very in depth. Especially for a game that's its first in its series, because I imagine they're gonna have to do some type of sequel with how much it sold. The more I talk about this out loud and I keep going back and forth, the more I think it's becoming obvious that I'm just a little bit more impressed with Hogwarts Legacy than I was with, as much as I love Spider-Man 2, and I think I have to say, I think it's my game of the year. I have to say, it's a tough decision, but I think Hogwarts Legacy is my personal game of the year, now that I'm saying it out loud. And it makes sense to me. One of the best-selling games of the year, absolutely. And, like I said, there's other games I haven't played this year. I know Baldur's Gate 3 was a big game. Obviously, there's other games like, you know, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Zelda. All awesome games. Obviously, I didn't get to play those games. And maybe they are better than Hogwarts Legacy, but Hogwarts Legacy is still like an 8 game. It's still like a great game. You know what I mean? I would have so now it comes down to if it edges out Spider-Man 2. Am I going to choose Legacy over Rumble? Because as great as this is, it is as great as the gameplay in this is. It's you know, it's still in the early goings. We're only 3 seasons in. Obviously, they added a party mode, which is totally different. It's so weird. I'm just trying to think because, when I was looking at my PlayStation wrap-up, by the way, it showed I put like over 200 hours into Hogwarts Legacy, compared to Spider-Man 2, where I put like 70 hours in. So it goes to show that I put a lot of gameplay at my own will into Hogwarts Legacy. But then Crash Team Rumble is a game I put almost 400 hours in. Maybe that's owed to the grind of the Battle Pass. It is weird, I know. I think I would give it to Hogwarts Legacy, not just because it has the story mode, but because the story mode has so much layers to it. Like the RPG aspect to it, the open world, the different things you can do. There's so many like mini games, there's so many ways to go about it. There's exclusive missions depending on what house you choose. And then you get to choose whether you want to be like a bad wizard or a good wizard. Like there's the 3 unforgivable curses that you get to learn, and it's totally optional. You don't even have to use them. You can use them if you deem it necessary, or you can be a complete serial killer if you wanted to be. Or you cannot use it at all. That level of choice is really something I value in games. Not to say it has to happen, because, like, you know, I always love linear games like Uncharted. Spider-Man, I would say, even though it's open world, it's more of a linear game. But as a sequel, compared to 2018's game, it adds a lot to it, but I still think it's just Spider-Man. It's not something that's, like, groundbreaking like God of War 2018 was. You know what I mean? Whereas Hogwarts Legacy, with all the odds going up against it, where, you know, how not only is Harry Potter not have the best tradition with creating games, but it had so much going against it, you know, in critic circles, with the whole controversy thing going on, and yet they still managed to provide one of the greatest games that I've played this year. I think there's a lot to say about that. And with that, yes, you know what? Hogwarts Legacy is my game of the year. I'll what's it called? Commit to it now. And I think this is the first time usually Sony games win for me. And I try not to not let that be the case. I wanted to be fair, but as much as I love Spider-Man 2, I just have to give it to it. Is this our mask or theirs? Can't really tell. I think it was ours. For old time's sake, do a roll call of all your Game of the Years. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. All right, let's see if I can do it from memory. So 1995 is Twisted Metal. Actually, I have it written down. All right, yeah, my Game of the Years are right here. And we'll make this our last game, but the last match, by the way. We got some Battle Pass work out of the way. Okay, so my Game of the Year is, to wrap up, 1995 is Twisted Metal. Let me just go back. 1995 is Twisted Metal. 1996, Crash Bandicoot. 1997, Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. 1998, Spyro the Dragon. 1999, Crash Team Racing. 2000, Spyro Year of the Dragon. 2001, Jak and Daxter The Precursor Legacy. 2002, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. 2003, The Simpsons Hidden Run. 2004, Killzone. 2005, Area 51. 2006, Resistance Fall of Man. 2007, God of War 2. 2008, Resistance 2. 2009, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. 2010, God of War 3. 2011, Killzone 3. 2012 is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. 2013 is The Last of Us. 2014 is South Park The Stick of Truth. 2015 is MLB 15 The Show. The only game I have that year. 2016, Uncharted 4 A Thief's End. 2017 is Horizon Zero Dawn. 2018 is God of War. 2019 is Death Stranding. 2020 is Ghost of Tsushima. 2021 is Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. 2022 is God of War Ragnarok. And 2023 is Hogwarts Legacy. What will 2024 bring for us? I'm in the fog compared. I'm feeling a little bit more good on South Park Snow Day when that comes out. I think Rise of the Ronin might be something I pick up. But other than and then I'm still holding out that Summer Game Fest an announcement for a fall release or a winter release of Spyro 4. I think it's still possible Spyro 4 can happen, because many games from the Toys for Bob Vicarious Visions Beanox train have been revealed or announced at Summer Game Fest, at least. You know, at least Crash 4, from my memory, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. I think Spyro Reignited was earlier in the year. I don't think that was a Summer Game Fest. I think that was like an earlier event in the year. Insane Trilogy was E3 2016. So yeah, not everything gets announced at the Game Awards. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel did, but not every single thing does. And we know that they can still announce things in the first half of the year and it being released in the same year. So I will hold out hope for that. I'm looking at Persona 3 Reload and Final Fantasy 7. Okay. Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 is going to be a big one. And Persona 3, I remember that when they announced that was good. Oh, Reload, right, because... But yes, that's what it will be for now. For now, I'm going to go back to BioShock. I'm going to have to get back into Crash Team Rumble. I'm hoping for like a double XP weekend at some point. Or something that will drive me to want to really kind of just grind away at this Battle Pass more. But, yeah. At least now I can, yeah, like I said, I can dive into my backlog a bit with BioShock Collection and Metal Gear Solid Collection. Until then, at least in January, I'll be doing that $10 upgrade path for Last of Us Part 2, which offers like a no return mode, lost levels that were cut. I think there's some director commentary, I think, but and also that return mode, being able to play as Joel and all the Last of Us characters. I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. And now that I've played Valhalla for God of War, I'm totally down with playing kind of like a roguelike type, or like a kind of like a never-ending sort of progressing type of game. So I'm excited for that. Other than that, Puppet Pig, it's been a pleasure. I'll catch you next time. Everyone out there, if you would like to subscribe to Kev Plays on YouTube, or Kev Plays 9490 as it goes, or follow me on Twitter at Let's Watch Series, it's greatly appreciated. Other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, keep a clear head, and keep on gaming. I'll see you in 2024. Peace out.